Hey everyone, this is Aubrey.
This is Melody. Welcome back.
And this is Mostly Macabre. So, what's going on, everyone?
How have you been?
I've been pretty good. I'm excited because we're getting closer to spooky season.
It's my favorite season of all.
Me too.
As you know. I believe we are going to be going on a little ghost tour in local downtown Ybor.
Yes, we are. We're going to try and record it and post it for you guys to see. And what's it called? Where'd you go before? It was
When I went before, it was a ghost tour in Ybor. And
Spookeasy. That's what it was.
Oh, the Spookies.
We're going to do that,
What
too.
a great name.
They closed for about a year, I believe, and I think they're opening up again. And at the time that I had gone, they were only a kava bar. So they only served kava and I believe like some appetizers, but now they're going to serve alcohol as well.
What's kava?
So kava?
Yeah.
Like it's like a tea. Kevin brought some to one of the...
It's a
Oh my
root.
God, I can't believe I forgot that.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's a root that you grind up, put in the tea, and
That's
it's
right.
very
I have
relaxing.
had it. I can't believe I
You
forgot.
had some?
Yeah, it was still. We went on our lunch break too. I mean, what's kava? Okay, woohoo. Welcome back.
It's a good time.
But yeah, don't you have to call ahead, get the secret passcode, and then find it? And
I think so. I don't remember. It's been so long since I've been. I do remember we had a bit of a hard time trying to find it in the first place. If it's the same one that I'm thinking about, the decor is elite. It's amazing.
I can't wait.
Very
I'm so
spooky.
excited.
Yeah, so we're gonna try and go there.
and we're gonna kind of try to record it and like show you guys and I'm
what
really
it
excited.
looks like. There are things to do here in Tampa. Not a whole lot, but we have a few things here and there.
It's really hot while you do it. It doesn't feel like fall, but we still, embrace pumpkin spice at least.
Yeah.
That is true.
A lot of it is just staying in the air conditioning during summertime.
Yeah.
I stay inside all summer.
I know, that's why I have a vitamin D deficiency, because I stay inside. That's why I'm pale. Like, my friends back home are like, you moved to Florida and you're the palest you've ever been. I'm like, 'cause it's too damn hot. Like, I will die if I go
I agree.
outside.
That's how we survive, is
Oh my
being
God.
inside.
That's why we have vitamin D
It's
deficiencies.
brutal. It's brutal down here.
But yeah, no, I'm going to try. I do want to try and do a weekend up north and bring my kids during, I have them for Halloween this year. So either for Halloween or, I'm going to try and get up
that
there,
sounds
at
so
least for a
fun.
weekend. But, and maybe do Salem again, try to, maybe Bella will be in a better mood. Because she was, for a little girl who's been begging me to take her to Salem, she was so miserable,
You can take us.
I know, right? I would love to.
You gonna do the road trip again with the
I'm not doing it. No,
Kevin and I
if it's a
won't throw
weekend,
up in your car.
yeah.
We'll switch it up a little
promise.
bit.
If it's a weekend, I'll fly. I'll have to just board Cliff or find him a donkey babysitter. But
I have a 5-star rating on
that's
Rover.
right. You would hate it though. He's terrible. I'd have to pay you.
I think
your
I'm
wage
retiring,
plus-
though. I do really think I'm retiring.
Yeah, my
I just-
dog's not good enough to just.
I'm a cat person. I've completely realized I am 1,000% a cat person. After sitting again, I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. Getting
I
up.
love me some Cliff, but I'm gonna tell you right
Exactly.
now, he's
I
naughty.
love dogs.
He's
Dogs
naughty.
are great. They're amazing. They're pure beings. They're just wonderful.
I'm gonna tell you right now, dog, wonderful my ass. That dog, he has such attitude, just like my daughter. I'll take him outside, and then he'll be mad because he wants to go to the dog park. He'll bark and look at the leash. I know what he wants. He wants to go to the dog park. I'm like, no, you're going on the run. I can't take you to the dog park right now. At least just get out, get some air. He'll go outside. He'll run around, chase dragonflies, which is his favorite thing, which is really cute.
That's cute.
Then he'll come in, stare me right in the eye, and pee on my curtains. I'm like, you've got to be kidding
my
me.
goodness.
As a huge fuck you. I'm not kidding you. He is and he knows. He knows better. He's just doing it to fuck with me.
He's channeling
my
your
goodness.
daughter's energy.
Yes.
You know.
I'm like, you son of a bitch.
I would have to rehome him.
No, I would never, but
You can always get new curtains. Come on.
no, I won't rehome him, but I'm like, now it's on. Now we have a power struggle going on.
If anyone's peeing on the curtains,
I'm
it's
gonna pee
me.
on you next. I'm just kidding. God damn, where's your lamb chop? Give it to me.
But it truly confirmed how I am definitely a cat person. Benji never wakes me up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go pee. Like he's.
But that's because you have a litter box. I got rid of Theo's litter box, and now
Why would you do that?
because it smells and I don't want to deal with it.
So how does he go?
He will wake me up at 2 in the morning to go pee outside.
Are you serious?
I let him out. Oh yeah, he'll wake me up if he's got to go. And if he can't for some reason, like if I don't wake up or if like the door's shut and he can't wake me up and he really, this is like dire, if he really has to go, he'll go in the tub. Which isn't a bad thing.
Wow.
I mean, do I really want him going in the tub? No.
But at least you can just flush it away.
It's so easy to clean up.
Yeah.
Where at least he's not peeing on like a couch or a mattress. The only time he's ever done anything like that is when he's mad because like if I have company over for a long time visiting, he gets a little territorial and he's definitely
reasonable.
He's peed like on a blanket or like on the couch before. It'd be like actually he took a poop on the couch and I woke up and I'm like, this was a huge fuck you. Like he knows better. He did this on purpose because he was mad that like people are in his house.
Funny.
Who are these
But
people?
no, and he had a litter box then. He was just like, fuck you. Here's your couch.
Oh, I love that for him.
Yeah, he's allowed to. But my animals all have two. I'm just like the weak link in the house. Between Bella and the animals, I'm screwed. But no, he's good. He goes outside. Ever since I got rid of the litter box, he's really honest. It's
That's
the best.
amazing. I didn't know that was an option.
And he'll hold it for a really long time too. So
An
it's not like he
indoor,
wakes me up
outdoor
every
cat,
night. It's
right?
only if he really has to go or something. But I try to make sure he goes out before I go to bed. And he'll just
Well, we
be fine.
definitely baby Benji a lot, and I think that Jay would probably kill me if I told him that I was just gonna let Benji outside.
Well, the first time
because of the fear of like owls or birds or prey or whatever, like trying to
Hawks. It's
snatch
hawks.
him. Yeah.
Well, I have a pond behind me, and we have an alligator in there. So like, there's a massive alligator out there. So for a long, I didn't let
gosh.
Theo out for like 4 years. I forced him to be an indoor cat, even though his soul was screaming to go outside, and he is born to be an outdoor cat. And finally, like the first time he got out, he was gone for like 24 hours. I had freaking... I have never put a sign up saying missing cat in my life until this, because I was like, Bella is going to kill me. She's going to have a stroke. She is going to be so upset if her cat doesn't come back. Like, I was more afraid of Bella's reaction than anything. So I put up like these missing cat signs, and finally, like, he came back, took all the signs down because I felt like an idiot. And then... Now, once we got the dog, it's like it kind of took some of the pressure off of Bella. Like, she doesn't freak out as bad about it. So I started letting him out. Like, and growing up, we let all of our cats outside. Like, they go like a little bit. They go like so far, and then they come back. And then they go a little further, and then they come back. Like, that's how cats are. They're really, really good about being outside.
So I've seen in documentaries.
Yeah. So, like, me keeping a cat inside is very, like, unnatural for me until I finally get the dog and Bella kind of chilled out a bit because she's got, like, another pet. Like it took kind of, like, the pressure off.
Yeah.
So, like, I started letting the cat out when they weren't home, and he did so well. Now he's, like, indoor-outdoor cat. Thank God.
Well, we've got coyote issues in Florida, though.
We have
Remember
coyote.
we had them in the parking lot at work?
Yes, they were pretty big too. I was impressed because where I grew up, we had, like I've said before on this podcast, I have mentioned how you could hear them in my parents' woods, the little dens where like one would yip and then across the woods you hear them yip. So we had like really big coyotes sometimes, and our cats, they survived. A couple didn't come home, but we've had a lot of cats, so it's like really.
Such is the circle of life.
I was gonna say, I swear to God, like my siblings would cry and carry out, and I'm like, am I the only one that caught the memo? The Lion King, like the circle of life. People.
I see the post all the time on like next door or whatever. It's like, beware, coyotes out. One
Beware.
ate my cat. It's like they're always
kind of like hawks. I honestly think you're more in danger of a hawk getting your cat than a freaking coyote.
We spoke about this on a different episode too, about how if Hawk came down and like stole my cousin's chickens.
Yes, that scares me
From
more.
our
I actually was
backyard.
more afraid of my cat getting eaten by either, because the cat would like to go to the water, which I don't know why. Cats hate water. An alligator snapping it, or freaking hawks. I was not worried about coyotes or like dogs. I'm like,
There's
no.
also snakes you have to worry about.
I
in
wasn't even worried
Florida.
about that because I'm gonna tell you right now, my cat will mess up my German Shepherd. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, they'll play together, and the German Shepherd is 100 pounds, the cat is 11 pounds. That cat, when he gets fed up, whoosh, he just, like, will slap that dog one time, the dog yips and runs away crying.
Yep.
Like, I've watched cats mess up some dogs.
Cats have
They
them
can protect
claws.
themselves.
Yep.
But when it comes to, like, a hawk when it's above them. No. No.
The thing about my Benjamin is he's a little bit of a pussy.
My little Benji.
He's a bit of a pussy, but I love him.
Aw.
Yeah,
Theo
he's
was born to be
spoiled
outside.
rotten. He's a little prince. We buy him like human grade food.
Oh,
he
God.
only stays inside. He's very particular about things. He only loves about 3 humans in the entire earth because
That's what cats are like.
That's very cat-like. Yeah,
That
you're
is very
right.
cat. That's what I respect about them.
he
is that-
doesn't care about like exploring anything other than his patio and the house. Like we're not scared that like if we open the door that he's gonna dash out and run away.
Oh no, Theo
he doesn't
was
care.
like dying to get out. He was like, "Get me out of this bitch."
Not
He was
Benji.
born to be like he was like a fucking tiger at heart. He wanted to be out. I felt guilty keeping him in. Poor thing would be at the window twitching his little tail, like trying to get out. Like
Benji's
his
very
little paw against the
content
glass.
with his little kingdom.
No, we had this little my kids called it Theo's little hidey hole. They called it. It was like this cube that had a hole in it where he would go and like rest. And they're like, Theo, you don't want to be outside. Go to your hidey hole.
It's cat cave.
His cat cave. It sounds a lot cooler than the hidey hole.
I do kind of wish that Benji was a little bit more. What would be the word?
Territorial.
Not territorial.
I was gonna say, 'cause Theo's territorial.
Primordial? Is it primordial? I don't know.
More of a cat.
Yeah, like more.
More primitive in nature.
Yeah, like primitive. I wish he would tap more into his little cat nature and like.
You bougied him too much.
You bougied him.
Yeah,
He's all bougied
it's
up.
too late.
No, Theo, no matter how much I tried to bougie him, he was like, fuck this shit, I am a lion. he was like he's a
Benji
Florida
accepts
Panther.
the bougie life. He loves it. Did I mention he loves Formula One? He loves to watch Formula One on Sundays.
You're hilarious. Oh my god. This is the animal podcast, everyone. Forget macabre.
Jay will put Formula One on Sundays, and his little head goes like this. Like, he twitches back and forth, like watching the little cars go by.
But does he want to jump at them, or does he just watch them?
No, he just like watches
Aw.
them. And at first we weren't really sure. Like, does he really love Formula One, or is what's going on? But then, like, usually when we're like in the bed, he watches us instead of watching the TV. Like, he's facing us.
Okay, tell me
But
more
then
about that.
he turns his little head around to see what's on TV, and then eventually he turns his whole body around whenever he noticed that it was Formula One,
That is
and then
funny.
he started watching it, and his little head was going back and forth,
You gotta blow
watching
his
the cars
mind
go
and
by.
Play it in reverse.
Oh yeah, hit rewind on that one. Good thinking, Kevin.
It's so funny though.
That
Yeah,
is-
I think it's a little too late for Benjamin. He's,
Yeah,
he's
he
used
sounds-
to a certain standard of life now.
He's ruined. You ruined him. See, I like when they're independent. Like, I'm like, look, I'm going away for 4 days, Theo. Find another home for 4 days. Goodbye.
I would have to find someone to come and heat up his human grade
Oh, dear
food
God.
and
Oh
eat
my
it.
goodness.
Let me tell you, my animal's so pumped when I give them wet food. They're like, is it my birthday? Is it my last? Am I dying? Am I getting put down? Because
That's all he's used to.
My little dog gets a mix of both. Best of both worlds.
Yeah, you guys spoil your animals more than me. I'm like, look, I want you to live, but not that long. Okay? Like,
I want him to live forever. I catastrophize. So, like, I look at him sometimes and I just love him so much that I start thinking about all the awful ways that he can die.
Oh
and
my God.
I start crying thinking about all the ways that Benjamin could possibly die.
therapy. What's wrong with you? Okay, we need to move on.
So,
Wow, we really went on a tangent
Oh yeah,
here.
I think we have a story or something.
Something like that.
the reason that you're all here today, I did bring you a story today. So today, I brought you a story from Mexico, my
Motherland.
my motherland. I wasn't actually born there, but I still try and strongly relate because there's culture there.
It was your first language.
It was my first language, and I use that all the time whenever I don't
Mexican
know
is not a
something in
language,
English.
okay?
Oh, you're one of those.
What?
I use that as an excuse when I don't know.
It is. It's a great excuse, and it
I
truly
wish I had
wasn't
that.
my first language. Whenever I first
I
started
think it's great.
school,
I wish.
I did not know English. Like,
I know.
I went to school not knowing a lick of English.
That's fantastic, to be honest with you. Like, because you will learn it in school, and now you're completely fluent. My family, I'm only 4th generation, and I don't have any Portuguese. It died out so fast. I think my grandfather could speak it and understand it. I've never heard my grandfather speak it. My mom doesn't know it. I don't know it. It completely in that short amount of time. Because I think, my great-grandfather was conceived in Portugal, born in America. Language already gone.
I've been trying to learn Spanish for years.
They used it to talk in front of the kids instead of with the kids. So
Yo aprendo muy lentamente.
very
Muy
good.
bien.
Thank you.
Very good. I'm like, very good, Kevin. I took French.
My mom always made sure that we knew Spanish, though.
That's actually really good. If I actually could speak another language, my recommendation to anyone out there who can speak another language, solely 100% talk to your children in that language, because when they go to school, they will learn English.
I 1000% agree, because now I am in a sales type job, and actually
You get paid
it's
more.
made me more money because I am able to speak
Every
both
phone call I
languages.
got, I had to give to Melody when I'm like, Melody.
Yeah, but
You
that
bring
job
it-
wasn't paying me more money despite how many languages I spoke.
I know,
so.
but it definitely helped me out.
Even though
I was like, uh-oh.
she was bi. Bilingual.
Bye.
She's completely bi. Hey, we completely support equality around here, okay?
Oh yeah, I don't care what you do in your free time. It's all good.
Free time all time. Oh my God, Kevin. You're going to get us canceled. Please forgive Kevin. He's old and
I'm old.
Senile.
I'm from
senile
the
at times.
South.
He was born of a different time. Things were different back then. So anyway, the story that I bring to you today is about Las Poquianchis. It's a story from Mexico, and I just thought that I wanted to bring you guys a little bit of flavor.
Flavor. I love me some spice.
Caliente.
Same girl. Our story today begins in Irapuato, Guanajuato, Mexico. So this is the north central Mexican state of Guanajuato, and it is also known for its mummies. So that state
Mummies?
Guanajuato is
Ooh.
known for mummies. Like
So they would mummify people before they buried them there?
I've never been, but I believe there's like a really important museum there where they have mummies that you can like go check out and stuff.
wow.
I've never been. I would love
That
to
sounds
go.
amazing. I would love to go.
Me too.
But is it mummies from like a long, long time ago?
Yeah,
Or
from a
is
long
it like
time
they
ago.
still do that?
No, I don't think so.
So it's, like,
I'd have to
ancient.
look into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's
I
mummies
didn't
there.
know that. I only know, I hear mummy, I think Egypt.
Well, I remember because whenever we were kids, we would go to Mexico in the summers,
Mm-hmm.
and there was this one summer that we went and we checked out the pyramids and stuff. Not
So
there,
cool.
in a
Yeah.
different place called Teotihuacan. We went there and we checked out the pyramids. We climbed the pyramids. It
That's
was a
so
lot of
cool.
fun. I thought it was amazing.
Do you have pictures of that?
Yes, I do.
We
I'll
need to
have to
post
bring
them.
them in.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to go check out the mummies, but it was kind of like a one or the other type deal. So like
okay.
we can either go check out the pyramids
Probably
or
have
we
to pay
can
for
go
both
see the
so that
mummies.
like take a
Well,
excursion.
it's different locations also. Teotihuacan is like, I think it's like the complete opposite direction of going
gotcha.
to Guanajuato. So
Next time you go, can I go?
Yeah.
Yes, I actually really
Take us
want to
all.
go in November, like I told you, like November 1st and 2nd. I want to
gonna-
go to Oaxaca.
I'm
really,
looking it up.
really fucking bad. I want to go see the Day of the Dead
I've
parade.
never
and
used my
everything.
passport. All right, so
Are you serious?
I'm completely serious. It's
I
going to
wanna go
expire.
so
I've never
bad.
used it.
But I can't find anybody to go with me. So
I'll go.
I'm trying to like convince my dad to go with me. Also, because
No, I'm more
it'll-
fun than your dad. Actually, your dad sounds like a
I want him
blast.
to come with me because he loves to travel, and also he's
Is it
really
Tuesday
good.
and Wednesday?
It's during the week.
That's all right. I got PTO.
He's very good at getting bargains, like haggling people, and then also he is Mexican from Mexico, so it gives me more credibility being there because
You won't get kidnapped?
Exactly, I won't get kidnapped for ransom.
All right. Well, I'm gonna look into this. Give me some prices, and I'm going.
This isn't what you guys are here for.
Sorry, we're making plans in front of you.
Sorry. Join us if you'd
That
like.
sounds amazing, though. I want to go.
I want to go so bad. But anyway, Guanajuato is also known for its mummies. That's not what our story is about today.
Unfortunately,
Who are Las Poquianchis? This is the nickname that was given to these sisters. Delfina, Maria del Carmen, Maria Luisa, and Maria de Jesus Gonzalez, all last name Valenzuela, were born in El Salto, Jalisco. So yes, they are all named Maria, but a little slightly different
They
version
probably
of
go by their
Maria.
middle name, don't they?
Yeah.
Because
So-
that's very common.
So there's Carmen, Luisa, Maria de Jesus, and Delfina.
I love the name Luisa.
Luisa, it's pretty.
I love it. I would call, if I had a little girl, I would name her Luisa, and I'd call her Lulu.
Oh my god, that's so cute. Like little Lulu Lucifer over there.
I've got a Lulu. That's my Lulu. If he decided to identify as a woman, I'd call him Louisa.
That's right. Lucifer.
From 1945 through 1964, the four sisters ran Rancho El Ángel, which is basically the HQ of their large-scale prostitution ring,
Nice.
and the site of the murder of at least 91 people. which
People or
is-
men?
People.
Okay.
Men are people too, I would like to say.
Oh, I wish we had a camera here, a little finger waggle.
Finger wag to you.
Which is the
PC police.
official count, but it's believed that the four killed more than 150 people, or even more than 200. It was a mixture of exploited women, newborns, and clients. So
Newborns.
this is how shitty these women were. Guinness World Records called them the most prolific murder partnership. Family dynamic going on here. So in El Salto, Jalisco, they were all born into a very dysfunctional family, as I'm sure it's not shocking to find out.
No.
Their father, named Isidro, was a police officer. He was also an alcoholic, a sexist, and no surprise here, he'd like to use his position to abuse his family. So he would beat his family, and then who's going to tell on a police officer? Like, who's going to arrest a police officer for domestic violence?
Just like in America.
He's
He could get
police
transferred
officer.
to an American police force. Get all the qualifications.
Just like anywhere.
Good to know it's not just America. It's all over the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, he would abuse his family physically and verbally, emotionally, I'm sure. It said that he forced the sisters to witness the torture of detained prisoners when they were just kids. So like, imagine growing up and like, this is your life. Your father is a police
what's
officer
forming
and
your
he's
brain.
forcing you. Yes, exactly. These are very formative years and you're forced to watch the torture of detained prisoners. So
That's
this was
just
their upbringing.
sick.
Their mother, Bernardina, was a religious fanatic. So she was very devoted to her Catholic church, and she tried to instill some good old Catholic guilt and cult-like worship of the religion into the kids. So anyway, yeah, that was their upbringing. As you can imagine, it probably wasn't the best foundation for four little girls to grow up
So
into
sad.
wonderful, productive women of society. So Sister Carmen, the Maria del Carmen sister, in 1938, she is the oldest of the Marias. She began having an affair with a much older man. This is 1938 again. She was caught by her father, Isidro, who lost his fucking mind whenever he found out that she was having an affair with an older man. And he used his power in office to send her away and lock her up in jail. He kind of wanted to like teach her a lesson. And that same day, Isidro was sent to go look for a criminal, which was part of his job as a police officer, go look for criminals. He ended up killing the man, the criminal that he went to go find, and that must have not been part of the assignment. He must have known that he fucked up because he proceeded to run away and live life on the lam for a while and hiding out in small towns near the city. But Godwin was still stranded in the town jail for 14 months.
Ouch.
So, exactly. He was trying to teach her a lesson and then all that shit happened. She was freed by an old man named Jesus, who she ended up marrying.
I was like, who she married? And
Yeah, she
as a
did.
thank
She
you?
ended up marrying him.
Of course she did. That's probably the deal he made. Like, I'll let you out if you marry me.
Dangling the keys. Oh, God,
Fine.
She's like,
damn
fine, I'll marry you. So,
I'll just poison you when you're not paying attention.
So yeah, in the 1930s, Godwin and her new husband opened a modest little bar. To their dismay,
I love that. A modest bar. Wenches everywhere.
That's what it says here. A modest bar. And to their dismay, though, the business was not as profitable as Jesus thought that it would be. They were actually in the red, and they were spending more money on the bar than it was bringing in.
Is this in the?
Was he a drunk?
Was this in the religious community?
Possibly.
He was drinking all the profits. That happens.
So, but it says here, but not before she learned that everything that she could regarding the bar business. So during this, even though they're not making a profit, she's still absorbing all of this knowledge, like how a bar is run, how to like do this type of business,
not to run it.
how not to run it.
So she was taking notes.
Exactly.
Good for her.
And then Delfina, the second older sister, she saw the bar business that her sister Carmen was running, and she was kind of inspired by her sister's entrepreneurial spirit. She's like, oh, sis is kind of over there doing her thing. And she decided to do something similar, but with more of a brothel twist.
But with hoes.
Exactly. Call it a bar with but hoes.
Hey, I am all about it.
And she opened a brothel in her own hometown in El Salto, thinking that this is a good idea because there's less police there. It's a smaller town. Law enforcement in smaller towns is easier to be friends with, I guess. Manipulate, if you will.
Come in, separate me this ticket. I've got this bedroom for you.
She was able to bring girls in and send flayers at night to the surrounding towns to promote her business. So the flayers, I believe, were just like in charge of collecting more girls. And she was even surprised that most of her customers at the bar / brothel were police and military and high-ranking politicians.
And she didn't really know what was up if she was surprised by that.
She just wanted to open a good old downtown bar.
Good old-fashioned
bar / brothel.
party brothel.
She didn't realize that there was going to be all these police, military, and high-ranking
I
politicians.
just wanted the degenerates. I didn't mean for the
Exactly.
politicians and the respectables of the town to
She
show
didn't
up.
know how
Lord.
far it was going to go.
That's where the money's at. That's where you aim.
Okay, so her practice brothel lasted until 1948, and then shortly after that, a scandal not far from her bar caused authorities in the area to turn their attention to her business. So Delfina temporarily moves her business to San Juan de los Lagos, which is like a neighboring city. It's another city in the same state of Jalisco, but not like far off. And that's when it becomes more of a family type business. Maria de Jesus, her other sister, collects payment from the customers, and Luisa was in charge of the kitchen. Carmen sews the clothes that the girls are wearing, and she keeps record of all their debts, quote unquote debts.
She's the accountant.
So you had
The accountant of the
had
group, if you will.
A pimp, a chef, and an accountant.
Yeah, exactly. So 2 weeks after settling in San Juan de los Lagos, Delfina had collected enough money to move the operation to Guanajuato, which is another state in Mexico. That's the one with the mummies, where the sex work was actually legal there. So they decided to move the whole operation over there.
Smart.
That could be a big bonus.
Could be, because you don't have to hide.
Now you can have a glowing light in the window that says
No more discount for law
nudes.
enforcement.
Live news.
Have one of those window shopping operations.
Yeah.
Ooh, like the red light district.
So how the Poquianchis get their name? In Guanajuato, she bought the house of a famous homosexual man nicknamed El Poquianchis. And the people transferred that nickname to the sisters, and it just kind of stuck. So, like, the house that they bought, that makes
He's
sense,
a famous
right?
homosexual.
Was
Was he famous for being homosexual?
I think he was probably famous for being homosexual in that town at that
And-
time,
yeah,
probably
yeah.
because
at
it's
that
not
time.
like common to be homosexual. So yeah, and then it just kind of stuck because they bought the house, and now like because it was his house and his nickname was Poquianchis, now they're the Poquianchis.
Okay.
Yeah, he was
I kind of like that.
a pioneer.
lot.
She went back to abducting minor girls, turning them into sex slaves.
I'm not into that.
Business as usual for her. So in Guadalajara, around 1954, the Poquianchis opened another brothel in Lagos de Moreno, Jalisco. Prostitution is illegal in this state, so they established connections with corrupt authorities and people in power to remain protected and to be able to continue to operate. And they also networked with kidnappers in the Republic to attain women who they plan to prostitute. So it's like a whole network at this point.
Oh, this is a whole
early
sex ring.
It's like
human
disgusting.
trafficking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
See, it's like if you got willing participants, it's one thing. If you've
I
got
agree.
kidnapped people, that's
underage girls,
That's
like children,
entirely
that's
different.
disgusting.
Yeah.
The age of the victims was usually between 12 to 15,
Oof.
who were brought under the guise of well-paid work. And because they want to help out their families, it's probably very easy to lure them in with well-paid work. Sometimes it was the family themselves who would sell the girls in exchange for money because, as you can imagine, money was probably short and, like, it was a dire necessity at the time. So these families would just sell off their girls thinking that they're going to go work probably as a maid or something like that. I know, it makes me want to throw up. It's terrible. So once at the brothel, the women were raped by an employee of the ring and beaten to break them in psychologically.
Ugh. Yuck.
They were immediately put to work at the training brothel in the farming town of San Francisco del Rincon. The Poquianchis provided them clothes and food at arbitrary prices to create debt that would become impossible for them to pay off. So basically, they were never going to be able to leave because of the system that they created, making them in debt to them because of, like, whatever their necessities were.
Welcome to
necessities
America.
were, like,
Kind of a
food,
common
clothes.
practice still to this day.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it's really terrible. So remember that good old Catholic guilt that their mother was trying to instill into them
it's just
from a
resonating
very
through this
young
whole
age.
story.
So it did manifest within them, but in a very weird way.
In a twisted way?
Yeah, as you can imagine. So as we talked about before, Mama Bernardina was a religious woman, and she taught the sisters a fear of God. But for some reason, they didn't really see anything wrong with abusing these girls, these children. But however, any type of, like, kissing, like touch, oral sex, or homosexual interactions with the clients was strictly forbidden because that's sinful.
What?
So, like, you none of that shit here in this brothel. We were in a pure brothel. Like, none of that. Only penetration, because that's a type of work. Everything else was a sin and it was shameful. So
I think they missed the memo.
Yeah, so premarital sex is not a sin.
they're
then.
fucking crazy.
Okay.
Pretty
All right.
much.
Maria de Jesus went as far as putting holes in the walls in order to make sure that none of their slaves were committing these disgraceful acts. So she
That's a
wanted to
lot of
spy
fucking
on them
commitment.
and, like, make sure that, like, nobody was being sinful. And
So whose fault would it really be?
Right.
The person or, like, the poor tortured child?
anyone caught doing these things would actually be tortured.
Oh, God.
And so the torture, what that entailed, included hitting the girls with sharp nails, hot iron metals, starvation. Obviously, they would get scarred and bruised from these punishments because they're made of bone and flesh, so who wouldn't get scarred?
Oof.
To which they would then be considered ugly and would be discarded as if they weren't actual living human beings and just thrown away.
So basically, they would torture them, destroy them, and throw them out on their own.
Yeah, because now they're
Oh.
ugly, even though they're the ones that did that to them.
Oh, God.
So, trigger warning. This probably should have been
whole
at the
thing's a
beginning of
trigger
the
warning.
episode, but once the woman reached the age of 25 or became ugly, they were murdered by the male accomplices called a verdugo. And the verdugo was given the task of torturing them some more. So some of the earlier victims would later become accomplices, working as wardens or even participating in homicides.
Oh,
and many of the girls became sick and they would die of poor diets. If they became pregnant, then an abortion would be performed or the infants would be murdered after the birth.
Oof.
So, yeah, pretty fucking dark. The way that they came down, like the way that their whole little scheme was put to rest, in 1963, there was a change in government in Guanajuato, and along with it, the abolishment of sex work in brothels. So as a result, the sisters ended up moving the operation back to the state of Jalisco, And there, Delfina and Maria de Jesus continued their business flying on the coattails of their first brothel. Delfina's son was in charge of making sure that the girls didn't run away and was murdered in a bar during a fight.
Oh, so they set it up, basically.
Kinda, yeah. So it was a big old mix-up. Delfina was livid, obviously, that her son was murdered. And she took a gun with her, hoping that she was going to find her son's murderer and kill him and get vengeance. And she was not successful. Her use of an illegal weapon actually brought more attention to her. And Maria de Jesus recommended her sister to hide in Guadalajara for a while. The police mixed up the bar fight location with the brothel, and instead of closing down the place of the murder, ended up raiding the illegal brothel. Maria and 20 of the sex workers were kept in the brothel for a day. All of a sudden, the power goes out, which is weird, and Maria de Jesus and her helpers managed to escape to a house that was owned by Delfina, the other sister, in San Francisco del Rincon, and they spent almost 8 months in that house with very little food. They became starved and fragile. They looked like skeletons because they hadn't eaten in 8 months. And they were contracting diseases from living in these terrible conditions. They probably weren't bathing regularly, so there's probably all sorts of disease going around.
Never mind the promiscuousness.
Well, and some of them died from lack of nutrients, of course, because they're starving.
Scurvy. I'm just kidding.
In 1964, on January 6th of 1964, Delfina and her sister took the girls to the torture ranch. The helpers and the child victims were caged in tiny cells and were warned to not try and run away. At this point, like, they know that people are looking for them, so they're trying to get these victims to comply as much as possible, telling them that they need to stay in these cells and they need to, like, not run away.
They have a torture ranch, which is basically like a concentration camp.
Oh, and if they made any noise or caused any trouble, that they would be killed. And I'm sure that they believed them because they've seen it happen.
I would make so much noise and be like, just end it. End it now.
Right?
Yeah, you're probably going to get killed anyway.
I would just start banging my little cup against the rails.
It would
like,
be so hard to maintain any type of hope in that type of situation.
No kidding. I'd be like, I'm done. I am done. No one else give up. Please don't do that.
But if they had, they wouldn't have escaped Aubrey.
Yeah.
6 days later, Carolina Ortega escaped. She let 3 mothers of the other victims know where their daughters were. And the 3 mothers rushed into the police station in the city of Leon and told the police chief of the tip on the whereabouts of their long missing teenage daughters. So their daughters had been missing for a long time. The mothers had been looking for them, and they would have never known where their daughters were if it wasn't because of Carolina Ortega escaping and letting those mothers know, like, I know where they are.
As a mother, I would never give up. Yeah.
And they were able to find them that way. They were told they were being held captive in a ranch somewhere near Leon. I guess she didn't know the exact location. But 2 days later, the police chief was investigating a ranch in the area when he stepped on some soft earth. And he was shocked when he found an arm within that soft earth.
Like a shallow grave.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So this was the first clue that's like, okay, there's definitely something here. Something's going on. After the arrest, many graves were discovered where the Poquianchis would bury their victims. So they just kept digging after finding that arm.
God, yeah. This is dark.
It is.
It's a good story,
I know.
though.
I didn't realize how dark it was.
I appreciate dark.
After storming into the ranch house, the police found 19 teenage girls, including the 3 for whom the search began. And the Mexican newspapers described the situation as a concentration camp for white slaves. That's so funny because not funny, but like interesting that you compared it to a concentration camp earlier. Yeah. And they're literally saying that it was a concentration camp.
White slave?
Well, that's what they used to call it back in the day whenever it was prostitution. They would call it white slavery. And that really just meant, I had to ask my dad about this. I was like, what the fuck is white slavery? I was like, why
so your dad's heard of this?
Yeah, because I asked him, I was like, have you ever heard of this? And he's like, yeah. He's like, it was these prostitute sisters or whatever. And I was like, why did you never tell me about this? He's like, why would I tell you about this?
Why would he? So it's something that is very commonly known there.
I don't know how commonly known is, or if he just has similar dark interests.
What year was he born?
65.
And this happened all in, what was it?
This was before his day.
But yeah,
there's a movie about it though.
But it was in the 60s when it first went down, right? And
yeah, so it's not too far from when
so
he
it's
was
something
born.
That's more
but he would have been older by then.
By the time he learned about it, though.
Yeah.
But I mean, think about it. If you were born in the 80s and something went down, by the time you hit 18, you've heard about it.
And then again, there's the movie. And like they're quite prolific. There's a movie. I'll get to it. I don't remember what it's called. It's not, I found it on YouTube. You can see it on YouTube now. It's an old movie.
Is it in English or Spanish?
It's in Spanish.
I still will watch it. Is there subtitles? Because I can watch it.
I don't remember. I didn't watch the movie.
I can't spell it.
But it's very hard to watch because the quality is also not that great. It's not what we're used to now.
It's all right. I'm used to bootleg.
So where was I? Yeah, it was described as a concentration camp for white slaves. And the cells were really tiny. They were grisly torture devices. Delfina was 55. Maria de Jesus was 40. A bunch of their helpers were also arrested. Luisa was accused of practicing rituals that involved human blood. She allegedly never participated in the prostitution ring and killings, is what she said. Further inspection of the ranch and at 2 brothels that were owned by the sisters uncovered the remains of 17 other young women and 5 babies.
Oof.
Yeah. More. Upon further investigation, the police found evidence of at least 35 murders. Some say the total exceeded 100. Discovered 90 buried women, charred fetuses, and human bones.
Ooh.
It was obvious that the human trafficking ring, white slave times, had been operating for at least 10 years. So this has been going on for a while. The victims ranged from ages 14 to 25. So fucking young.
Yeah.
So young. And they all came from poor families that were lured with the promise of jobs as maids in upper class families. So these were just people like trying to get better for themselves, like trying to live better lives, trying to earn more money. And they were lured here, and this is what
out
they
of desperation.
Found. I hate this. Like, I want to cry. Like, why did I pick this story?
It's a very good story that I've never heard of this, and like it'd be interesting to see if people from Mexico are like, yeah, this is something we all know about. You know what I mean? Like, we haven't heard it, but
the thing is, like,
your dad knew about it.
Mexico there's so much that goes on. Like, this is probably such old news compared to new things happening.
But it's such a it's a big story though. I mean, like it's got deep roots. You know what I mean?
So at least 2,000 girls had passed through the rings since 1954.
Wow.
How insane is that? Holy shit. Most were sold to the brothel owners throughout Mexico at $80 per girl. The rest went to their own establishments. Oh my God. Imagine, you think that's what a girl's life is worth?
$80.
I really regret doing this story. Like, I'm going to throw up. This is disgusting.
I think it's fantastic. Go on. I mean, like, as a story.
I'm trying to, like, keep going. Shit. Okay.
I'm honestly fascinated. I've never heard of this. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah. Why would we hear about this here in the U.S.?
We've got our own sex rings to talk about.
And we don't like to talk about them. No. We like to keep them hidden. Testimony. One 14-year-old girl said that when a girl would get sick from not being given enough to eat and being beaten so badly that she would be taken from the room where she was locked up, and we would never see her again, that we were told that she was taken to the hospital. So what going to the hospital meant is that the girls were being sent to the ranch near Leon, and the sick were sent there to die. The rebellious girls were sent here for discipline.
Oof.
And the girls were...
That would be me. I would end up a rebellious girl sent for discipline. It would suck even more.
Well, you would have been starved to death.
Yeah.
Beaten, buried alive, or thrown off of a rooftop.
I hope it threw
Just
up a
basically
rooftop
these people
instead of
had
burying
no
me alive.
regard
I am
for human
terrified.
life.
I am terrified of the dark, and I am claustrophobic, so I would rather be hurled off the top of a freaking roof.
To be honest, that sounds like the most merciful death.
Yeah, because
As
burying
opposed to
someone,
any of the others.
just the idea of that sets me into a panic attack. Like, I can feel it in my chest getting tight. Like, oh, God. It's the worst.
One of the helpers admitted that some died of hunger, some died of sickness, and others couldn't take the punishment with the stick.
Oof.
The helper went on to describe how she sprinkled the bodies with kerosene and set them on fire. Then she would call the gravedigger. A survivor told how she was left alone without medical care while giving birth to her child, which then died and was buried in the ranch yard.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about the royal bed called La Cama Real. The most feared torture was the Cama Real, a narrow board onto which girls were placed and wrapped in barbed wire so that even the slightest movement caused cutting. And these sessions would go on for days at a time.
Oh.
Who the fuck thinks of these things?
I mean, that's an easy thing to think of, though. I mean, barbed wire is fucked up.
I
If you're
wouldn't
gonna
think
tie
of
someone
this.
up.
So the way they kind of all ended up coming to some sort of justice. In San Francisco El Rincon courtroom with no spectators to guard the perps or to attack them, the three sisters were found guilty of first-degree murder, white slavery, and assorted other crimes. As we mentioned before, white slavery is the old name that they used to give for
like prostitution or sex slaves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that.
Trafficking, sorry.
Trafficking. 19 other persons were also convicted of being members of the ring and given jail sentences. Maria de Jesus and Delfina received 40 years, which was the max at the time. Luisa was also sentenced to 40 years, although, again, she allegedly didn't take part in the ring. She was just into the human blood ritual part of it. Godman had already died of cancer in 1949, that fucking whore.
The ugly
So she
ate her
got
from the inside out.
Yeah, so she got to, like, not see justice here on this planet.
Maybe she felt it. Let's just think of it that way.
So I'm sure she's feeling it wherever she's at.
Hell.
The sisters, wherever, I don't know.
I mean, she's Catholic.
Maybe
She's
she's
in hell.
reincarnated as a slug or
She's
something.
Catholic. She's in hell. It's like little Nikki. She's getting pineapples shoved up her ass.
The sisters admitted that they operated brothels, but they denied guilt for any of the deaths. They said that they would be appealing.
That's ballsy.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. These
What are
bodies
you
just
going to
showed up.
appeal? I don't understand.
Look, I heard these bitches out, but I did not kill them. Okay.
They wanted to die.
They wanted to die. They knew the rules, and they broke them. I think that's like a contract. They wanted to die.
But perhaps maybe a little bit of cosmic justice happened. On October 17th of 1978, Delfina was killed by a construction worker who accidentally let a bucket full of cement fall on her head.
That's fucking hilarious.
What are the fucking odds?
That's
but I
great.
love it.
That is karma.
I love it.
Accidentally.
I love it.
That's what you get. I mean, 70s. So this went on for so long.
Well, by then she was incarcerated.
But my point is, it started what, in the 40s?
50s, 40s, 50s.
And all the way to the 70s. So a bucket of cement fell on her head? That is karma.
Where the hell
Love
was
it.
she when the bucket fell on her head?
Prison. She was already in prison. At
She
this
was out
time.
for her yard time, and all of a sudden, yoink.
A bucket of cement fell on her fucking head, just
Poetic
like
justice.
it should have always
Yeah.
been.
Talk about a more perfect target.
Maria de Jesus reverted to her religion while in prison, and she was actually set free before her sentence finished, which is enraging. She quickly married, and then she even had the luxury of dying peacefully in her own home, which is
Who the fuck would
fucked
marry
up.
her?
I don't know.
That's a strange kink.
Yeah, that's a weird kink. I'm on the kink shame there. Weird kink.
Luisa,
She probably learned a thing or two about a thing or two, though. Let's be real.
Luisa, human ritual girl, ended up in a mental hospital, and in 1984, she also died of cancer. So that's how she came to an end.
My mama has always said, I feel like the water boy. My mama said. My mom has always said, you will rot from the inside out, depending on how you are as a person.
And that's what happened to them. So yeah, fucked up bitches doing fucked up shit.
Fucked up bitches and fucked up shit.
That was my fucked
dark.
up story for today. I've been sitting on that one for a little bit.
Thanks for the
I
feel-good
actually really
story.
enjoyed it because it's something that I like the fact that you come up, like, I've never heard of some of the stories you come out with. Like, it's very interesting that you find, one, I don't know how you found these stories. But
I don't know how I found this either.
When you ask your dad, he's like, oh yeah, like it's so common for, like, we hear all these stories that we talk about that are so common here in the U.S. or even like when we do.
Like our Ted Bundys and stuff.
Our Ted Bundys, our you know, what's her name from Monster, Eileen
Eileen Wuornos.
Eileen Wuornos.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like we have typical serial killers that we talk about, but you come up with all these like really
Mexico
out there
has some
stories.
dark shit.
I mean, it's dark even now, you know, with the cartel
even
and everything.
now.
But you come up and like the fact that your dad's like, yeah, I know this story. It's like wild to me. So I really enjoy like.
I'm like, why did you tell me?
Why didn't you tell me? Because you were 5. Because you were a child. No, I mean, it's actually very interesting. I really enjoy hearing it from like, and you know, like we tell
I was so nervous telling it because it was hard to find information on it, and it is like an older story. And
anyone that actually knows about this story, please write in. Like that would be awesome. Like especially. Let's hope we get some followers from Mexico, where you know where you're trying to find.
Síganos en México, por favor.
That would be awesome, you know.
This one was for sure macabre. This one fit the name to the T.
Yeah, no, that was a good story though.
Macabre till you sob.
Macabre. That should be our email.
That should be a T-shirt.
Oh yeah. Actually, speaking of merch, we're working on our website and we're gonna have some merch. Hopefully, that would be a really good T-shirt or like koozie. We're gonna have a mostly macabre.
I literally wanted to sob telling this story.
She's a soft one. I'm the hard one. No, but like. We're going to have a mostly macabre apothecary where Melody makes her candles, and we're going to have other stuff. So we're working on that. Hopefully you guys keep following us, and we will let you know once that's up and running. I cannot wait. I'm really pumped about that because I keep looking up different things that we're going to put out there. We're going to start our Patreon soon as well.
We have a lot in the works and a lot of work to do.
A lot of work to do, but we're hoping that you guys keep following, keep listening, and we are going to work on that, and we will keep you updated.
Also, send us your own stories in. We'd love to hear what you have to say. What macabre type shit has happened to you?
Give the email, because I screwed up the first time.
Mostly macabre pod
at gmail.com. And we're going to post some pictures on our Instagram, Mostly Macabre Podcast. All right, we hope you guys keep listening. Bye.
Have a great week, everybody.